As of the recording of this video, it's 10:11 p.m. Central Time, and I'm calling it quits for the day. And so that means we just went through the first day of free agency in 2019, and it's already been crazy. Now I'm gonna do my best to try and analyze and react to every single move, and if it makes sense for the team and for the player. And my source is gonna be Woj in Instagram. I'm gonna try and analyze every single Woj bomb from the first one to the last one as of the recording of this video. Now, the first Woj bomb that we got was in the first 2-3 days. I thought he was gonna wait a little bit more, and that he was going to actually go to a more promising team like the Lakers, who are in desperate need of shooting and are role players, since they literally have like 2 players in rotation. Now for the Bucks, this move makes a lot of sense. They keep the shooting, they keep the veteran experience. Brook Lopez was arguably a top 3 player in the Bucks during that Toronto Raptors series, so it really does make a lot of sense, this move for them. Now the second Woj bomb was a really big one. This was probably the biggest one of the day. This is what's setting Twitter on fire. This is what's setting the world on fire, really. Okay, so the next Woj bomb we got was Kevin Durant going to the Brooklyn Nets. And this is something that a lot of people believe was going to happen, and a lot of people said it was going to happen. He was going to New York, he was staying in a big city, he was staying in a big market, but he was playing for a good organization, and he was going to actually have help. Player-wise, I think this is a great decision for Durant. He gets to go to a franchise, be the man from the beginning, and he has actually a good supporting cast around him. He will have not only good players, but a good staff, good medical staff, a good owner, and people that have proven to be just a good organization. Because remember, when these are real humans and this is their job, so they're trying to find what's best for them personally. Not only where can I win more, but where can I expand my brand the most, and where can I make a career out of myself so that when I retire, people remember me as the good guy. And Brooklyn is really a good place for Durant to do this. He initially agreed to the max, but we'll get into that later. As far as Brooklyn goes, this is a really good pickup for them, in the sense that Durant isn't the only guy they're getting. As most of you knew before Woj made this post, before we hit Sunday, a year from now, you're gonna pair up with a top 3 player in the league, probably a top 50 all player all time. top 25, some would say. So it's really a good move for them. These two pickups are amazing for the Brooklyn Nets. It's amazing how much they flipped their franchise around from a borderline playoff team to championship contender in the span of 1 year. Because you gotta also remember, they still have Jared Allen, they still have Joe Harris, they still have Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, they still have Spencer Dinwiddie, they still have Caris LeVert. These are the same guys that only D'Angelo Russell as their sole star put in the playoffs as a 6th seed. Now you're gonna get 2 MVP talents in DeAndre Jordan, who also seems like he hasn't lost it, like he still got it, like he still is able to ball out. Because you need to put into perspective the fact that we saw DeAndre Jordan play this year in a Dallas Maverick team that was the Luka show this year, with no point guard to really set him up, because Luka Doncic didn't really get that type of playmaking ability until the end of the year, when the game really seemed to slow down a little bit for him. And then a New York Knicks team who, let's face it, is a joke at this point. Now the next bomb that we got from Woj was Chris Middleton is going to stay a Buck. Not only is he going to stay a Buck, but he's going to get paid while he does it. He agreed to a 5-year, $178 million contract to stay a Buck. Now, I'm really proud of Chris Middleton, because what he did this year was really not worth $178 million. I'm sorry. Now the Bucks had a max slot, which is something people forget. The Bucks came into free agency with a max slot if they were to renounce the rights on their own free agents, which were George Hill, Chris Middleton, Nikola Mirotic, and Malcolm Brogdon, and Brook Lopez. And we had already known that Brook Lopez was going to get signed, so they lose that max slot immediately. But because of the bird rights, they were able to sign Chris Middleton. Now, I don't know how I feel about this. I do not believe that Chris Middleton is worth a max. This year he put up 18.3 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists on 44% shooting, 37% from 3. That's not a bad player. That's an amazing player. That's a really efficient. He's really a good 3-and-D guy, one of the last pure 3-and-D guys we got. He has a great catch and shoot jumper. He showcased in the playoffs a great ability to create his own shot off the dribble as well. But when we got to that Toronto series, he was unable to show up. He was unable to become that second guy for the Bucks that they needed when Kawhi was locking up Giannis, when they were creating that wall around him, and they couldn't do their usual drive and kick game with Giannis. Though, if you watch Milwaukee games, you will be able to tell that Giannis isn't only the first scoring option and the best defender on the team. He's also their playmaker and their vocal defensive leader and their best rebounder and their court general on the break and their court general on half-court sets. The whole offense, the whole game, the whole Milwaukee game revolves around Giannis Antetokounmpo being really scary when driving to the paint and passing it out to whoever tried to double him, and their matchup. You know, he's driving to the paint, oh, he's getting doubled. From which side? You pass it to that side. That's the Milwaukee way. And when that wasn't working for them, Chris Middleton failed to show me that he was worth the All-Star selection and that he's worth to be the second best player on the championship team. I thought they were going to do something with that max slot. They're a good team. They're a good organization. They're a good market. I'm just surprised that they were willing to give this guy, this one-time All-Star, who arguably should be a two-time All-Star, because he did put up 20 points per game last year, their max slot, and they're going to try and run it back. I'm just in shock. Now, to stay with the Bucks here, they did lose out on Nikola Mirotic, who was arguably one of the best bigs off the bench this year and probably ever. I've never seen someone come off the bench and completely change a team the way that Nikola was able to do it this year. His 3-point marksmanship his way to rebound the ball with hustle. Nothing but hustle. He wasn't the best rebounder when it came to positioning. He wasn't the best rebounder when it came to athleticism. But he was able to grab rebounds. He was able to make threes. He was able to play in the post. A really good all-around player, and I'm surprised he actually left for Europe this year. The next Woj bomb we got was the fact that JJ Redick was not only leaving the 76ers, but he's going to New Orleans. New Orleans Pelicans. The Zion hype is real, people. The guy hasn't even played a single game and he's already recruiting people out here, okay? Listen to me. It's kind of funny, really. Now, he agreed to a 2-year, $26.5 million contract to join the Pelicans. And really, this is a great move for both parties. The Pelicans were really lacking shooting last year, and especially after the move they made. Because after the Anthony Davis trade, all they had was Alonzo Ball, who we know how that went. Brandon Ingram, who isn't really the best three-point shooter per se. Josh Hart, who's also a 33.6% three-point shooter, 36% for his career. So this year was really a low year for him. And Zion Williamson. Need I say more? Now, this is actually a pretty amazing move for them. It gives them the shooting they needed. It gives them the veteran presence they lacked. Maybe he'll finally get Lonzo a jump shot. And J.J. Redick gets to be kind of the low-key leader of a team, the way Nick Collison was for the Thunder. He gets, because you need to think, J.J. Redick is a really good player. J.J. Redick is a 15, 17, 18 point per game scorer at the age he is. It doesn't matter, because that type of shooting doesn't get rusty. Your knees don't buckle when you shoot. Okay? So it doesn't matter how old he gets. It doesn't matter. He is going to stay his efficient and just amazing player self. He's going to be able to come into this team, teach them the ropes, what it means to win, while not really having the responsibility of having to lead them to win. That's going to fall on the younger guys, which is also a great thing for them to learn, for the Pelicans not to be going for the big free agents and just trying to win immediately, but to let the kids grow up and understand how hard it is to win, how important it is to work towards those wins. And JJ Redick is going to be an amazing piece for them in that department. Just think about the fact that they're going to be running Lonzo Ball, JJ Redick, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Jackson Hayes. Lonzo's going to be throwing lobs all around. He's going to be amazing at setting up Ingram and JJ Redick on the perimeter for catch and shoot jump shots. Williamson and Ingram can create their own shot off the dribble. It's going to be a really fun team to watch this year. It's going to be really fun to watch. And I really love this pickup. I'm in love with it. I'm really in love with it. Another bomb. He dropped a huge bomb after that. Kemba Walker agrees to sign a 4-year, $141 million contract to join the Boston Celtics. Now, later in the day, we would find out that that would actually become a sign and trade between all three teams, where the Hornets would actually get Terry Rozier, the Nets will get Kyrie Irving, and the Celtics will get Kemba Walker. Now, I don't know what else Boston is getting, since they gave up 2 players and are only receiving 1, and there's 2 teams involved. But I'm in love with the way the Hornets handled this situation. This was really the best move for them to make. Not even go into a meeting with him, not do anything about it, just let him walk. Nobody is trying to pick up your contracts. Nobody's trying to go there. Nobody. From now on, accept the fact that you suck, get a good lottery pick, and rebuild through the draft until the bad contracts you have just run out. Terry Rozier is a player that I believe can become a really good starting caliber player in the league. He is he, in last year's playoffs, not the year that just happened, but the year that Boston went to the conference finals and J.R. Smith proved his 1 million IQ in front of millions of fans. Terry Rozier showed a lot of promise to me. He showed that he's a great playmaker. He makes good decisions with the ball, where to pass it, who to give it to, when to give it to someone. Obviously, he's still young and makes mistakes that every young point guard does, because what people don't realize is, for a point guard to become great, you need to give them the keys. Once you give them the keys, they will find the door that they need to open with it. If you don't give them the keys, they ain't gonna go to no door, bro. They're gonna stay in this comfortable room, do the best they can, but they're never gonna find the door. They are not gonna find a way to develop into their best self. When Terry Rozier was given the keys to the Celtics offense that year, he was playing great. He was arguably one of the best starting point guards in the league. And at that age, I think he can actually become an all-star caliber point guard. Maybe not Hall of Fame like Kyrie Irving, but definitely all-star caliber. But he needs the chance. He needs a couple of years to accommodate himself to a good system and see the game slow down for him. He still plays so fast. And I think the Hornets are a great place for him to do this. And the Hornets get younger. Obviously they get worse, which means a better draft pick. Now, I don't like the fact that Boston wasn't the team to give Rozier his chance. I don't like the fact that Boston pretty much replaced an isolation point guard with another one right after they drafted one. Because you need to remember, Boston drafted one of the best pure isolation scorers in the draft in Carson Edwards. Not only that, but they also drafted one of the best isolation scorers that we've ever seen in high school in Romeo Langford, who obviously 6'5", but the way he plays, he's definitely a point guard in the league. Just to sign Kemba Walker, if that was your plan all along, why draft those players? And not only that, Jason Tatum struggled this year because he didn't get enough touches. He was never able to get into a rhythm in games. You saw him putting up forced shots and just shooting at the end of the shot clock because the play was never for him. They were just kind of using him as a scapegoat. Oh, Jason Tatum missed a shot. Oh no. And people were saying that they didn't see the progression that they were expecting from him. How are you supposed to when last year the best we saw from Jason Tatum was when Kyrie wasn't there? And you gave Rozier the keys to the offense, and you gave Jason Tatum the keys to the hoop. Okay, Rozier, you need to set up all the plays, but the first thing you need to find is a way for Jason to get his shots up, get him into a rhythm. When you got those two locked in that game plan, your team was flowing. You had one of the best scoring small forwards in the league in the playoffs. You had one of the best up-and-coming starting point guards in the league. You had a really good 3-and-D shooting guard in Jaylen Brown. One of my favorite centers in the league. My favorite Hispanic player of all time in Al Horford. And then you just messed it all up. You bring in Kyrie. There's not enough ball to go around for everyone. The team goes down, crashes down this year. Kyrie leaves, and then you just bring in Kemba Walker, who has the same play style. Why? Just why? Now the next bomb we got was Derrick Rose going to the Detroit Pistons for 2 years, $50 million. And I'm gonna get into these role player things and why I think someone in particular in the league is really hurting right now. But to me, this just means the Pistons are giving up on Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson has one of the worst contracts in the league right now, and he's really not putting up any crazy points. Now, with that contract, there's a high chance that he's not actually going to start for them, but there is a chance that he does because of how good he played last year. I mean, the guy did put up 50 points in one game. And if they believe enough to start Derrick Rose, I think this is going to be a great bounce back season for him. This is going to be the year where you start seeing him as an all-star again, not just picking him as an all-star Derrick Rose finally playing good again, let's pick him as an all-star, or more like, oh my god, Derrick Rose is actually going to play like an all-star. Now for Derrick Rose, I don't think this was the best move, going to a franchise that's in NBA limbo right now. They're not good enough to be a contender. They're not bad enough to get a good draft pick. They're not rebuilding. No one wants to go there. It's not really a good place for the Pistons right now because of all the contracts they have. No one really wants to move for those contracts, so you can't take them out. You need to wait them out. It's really not a good look on the franchise, the way that they've managed those contracts. So getting Derrick Rose for this cheap was really good, but for Rose as an athlete, I don't know how much I like it. I really liked him in Minnesota, the way he was playing coming off the bench. I really believed he should have been the one starting because Jeff Teague, oh my god. But I really don't understand why he decided to go for the Pistons for only $50 million. He's getting $7.5 million a year. I thought he was going to get upwards of 12 to 15 mil a year, the way he played this year. Maybe from a certain purple and blue franchise who really needs a point guard right now. And he was a really good shooter this year, so I don't know why he didn't go to a franchise, why they didn't even meet with him. But stuff happens, I guess. Now this next one is really just a small one. Harrison Barnes agreed to stay with the Kings. You know, same thing that happened with JJ Redick. He is going to be a really good vocal leader in the team. Whether he starts, whether he doesn't start, it doesn't matter. He's probably going to start because the guy is a baller, but it really doesn't matter because you're signing him for the experience and what he can bring to your team, which is that experience, that tenacity that comes with winning a championship, one of the best teams ever assembled. He's going to be really good at teaching the guys the ropes of winning and the importance of hard work. He is a really hard worker, and I love him as a player, I love him as a person. Great move for both parties. Another small one, another role player that leaves the market. Gerald Green returns to the Houston Rockets on a 1-year deal. No really big news there except for some franchise out there that really needs depth. They got a really good couple of stars, and they need depth, and those role players just keep flying out. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not calling names out, but you can imagine who I'm talking about. Again, another role player who I feel was a little bit overpaid. The Orlando Magic agreed with Terrence Ross on a 4-year, $54 million contract. Now, I don't know if it was front-loaded, back-loaded. If you play 2K My League, you know what I'm talking about. But just out of guessing, let's just imagine that it's a flat contract. He would be making $13.5 million every single year for Terrence Ross. I mean, we're talking about Terrence Ross here. The guy hasn't done anything since he put up 50 points in Toronto, and even that season, that was the highlight of the year for him. That's the highlight of his career. The guy's never really been amazing. And in my opinion, he is not that money. Especially when you consider Derrick Rose just went for half that price. Just more role players leaving the market. Some getting overpaid more than others, apparently. Terrence Ross finessed them in this situation. Al-Farouq Aminu leaves to the Magic as well. Now, I don't know what the Magic are doing here. Just signing forwards and signing centers and just all willy-nilly. Now, just to name you a few forwards and centers off the top of my head in their position, in their roster, you have Aaron Gordon, you have Al-Farouq Aminu, you have Chuma Okeke, you have Nikola Vucevic, you have Mohamed Bamba. That's 5 forwards and centers, all at least 6'9". None of them shoot over 36% from 3. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? You don't need more depth. No one that I just mentioned got injured last season and missed significant time for you to tell me, oh, we need more centers because Vucevic was getting injured a lot. No, you don't. What you needed to do was get rid of Vucevic and develop Bamba, who you waste the 6th pick on and aren't even willing to play him. The guy's averaging more blocks than Vucevic and he's playing half the time. Play my boy. Now I'm getting off topic here, but just what are the Magic doing? What are the Magic doing? As a basketball organization, there's not even a word to describe it. They're just Al-Farouq Aminu. I love the guy. He can play either forward position. Not really the best shooter, but a really really good defender that hustles, and you can count on him when it matters most. So good move for him, really bad move for the Magic. I don't know where they're going to put him in the rotation or what they're going to do with the rest of the roster. A move that really didn't make much sense to me, because I don't know who it was Danuel House going to the Rockets for $11 million. I'm just going to congratulate the guy right now, because I don't know who he is. If you do, then there you go. Okay. Now, Bojan Bogdanovic from Indiana, you know, that guy that's really good. Yeah, who people get confused with the guy in Sacramento. Yeah, the guy no one talks about is actually one of the best small forwards in the league right now. Yeah, that guy, he's going to Utah. And I love that. That's a great move on both parts. He's going on a 4-year, $73 million deal. Well worth that money. Money well spent. The guy is one of the best non-athletic players I've ever seen. He knows where to put the ball on the floor. He knows when to do it. His timing is impeccable. He's one of the best catch and shoot shooters in the league right now. He hustles on defense. He has really good stamina. You can play him a lot of minutes, even though he doesn't look like the most athletic guy in the world. He's a good passer. You know, he's basically Joe Ingles, but a little bit toned down and a better shooter than Joe Ingles. And it gives the Jazz that wing depth that they really needed. And Bogdanovic can really come in and be that 3 guy in this team. There's really no one else that can play in that spot. So I really love that move. And he can play either forward position. And with Derek Favors probably leaving, that's really a good move for them. Now, there was actually a trade right after this, which was Malcolm Brogdon going to Indiana for $85 million, 4 years. I don't know what to say. Because not only did they trade him, they traded him for a first in 2 seconds. This is one of 8 players to have a 50-40-90 season. And not only that, in my opinion, he was their second best player in that Toronto Raptors series. I believe that if Milwaukee didn't use that max slot, they were going to bring back Brogdon. And they didn't. They traded him to Indiana for a first in 2 seconds. They basically sold him for money. I don't know what Milwaukee's doing. I don't know what they're on. I don't do drugs, but apparently I need to try whatever their owner is on, because apparently it's really good, because it makes you do crazy stuff like this. Now, on Brogdon's side of things, this is going to put him in a great position, finally being able to be the main distributor on a team. It takes pressure off of all the depots, playmaking abilities, which are really the best we've ever seen. He's not James Harden. He's not the typical 2 who can pass the ball around. Well, not the typical 2. He is the typical 2 that doesn't pass the ball around. And taking that pressure off of him and giving it to Brogdon is going to be really good for them. It's going to be really good for Brogdon to actually have that pressure. With Giannis on the team, he was never really able to experience that. And really expect a breakout season from this guy. He's gonna be special. Now, Indiana keeps making moves, and the next thing we heard from Woj was them signing Jeremy Lamb, who you can play at the 2, you can play at the 3. Some people would play him at the 4, which makes no sense. But signing this guy was actually a pretty good move. It gives them some wing depth. It makes them just overall better. With Oladipo being out with an injury, you don't know if he's going to be 100% come October. You don't know if he's going to play the first couple of games. And Jeremy Lamb is going to be a really good player off the bench, and he's able to come in and start and not be a liability on the court. He'll give you your 15 points a game. He'll hustle on defense, even though he's not the best defender IQ wise. He tries, and he's just a really good role player that is gonna help them win more. Another one that really I'm not gonna spend too much time on is Thomas Bryant staying with the Wizards. Now, this is one of the young players that broke out this season. He got a 3-year, $25 million deal. Great for him. Great for the Wizards. I hope this is a sign that they're finally accepting the fact that they're not going anywhere, and that they need to rebuild around their young players. Jabari Parker, not one of those players. One of the biggest bombs that we got, well, not a bomb really, but one of the biggest news that we got was that Tobias Harris is staying with the Sixers. Not a bad move when you think about it, right? The problem is, with me, he got a 5-year, $180 million contract. You heard that right. $180 million contract for a power forward that can't rebound, can't defend, and put up only 18 points a game. He's not an MVP caliber player. And outside of the offensive end of the floor, he doesn't do anything elite. And I really do think that Philadelphia way overspent here. They didn't really have to give this guy this much money. Now, Tobias, I love that Tobias is staying with Philly. I love the fit of him in the team. The way that Ben Simmons can just kick it out to him until he finally decides that he's going to play basketball and actually shoot a jump shot. Tobias Harris is one other guy that he can get bailed out with. So, not a bad fit for him. He's getting paid. Amazing choice. That's what you want in life, to get paid, But Philadelphia really overpaid here. $180 million for Tobias Harris is just a lot. It really is a lot of money for a guy who's really not worth that money. You see guys that get this type of money. He's gonna get more money than Damian Lillard is gonna get, or around the same. He's gonna get more money than Kyrie Irving, than Kemba Walker, than Kevin Durant, around the same as Klay Thompson. That really doesn't make any sense for Philadelphia. Basketball-wise, it's really good to keep that core as tight as you can, because you were really close. You brought the NBA champions to their only Game 7 in the playoffs. So that's a really good move, to keep the core as tight as possible, to keep them as close as possible to what it was last year. But you really did overpay, man. No. That's a big no-no for me. Now, talking about Klay Thompson, that's something that we already heard about, but I'm just going to talk about it right here. He's going to stay in Golden State, which is a surprise to mostly no one, really. The Splash Brothers are probably one of the most important duos in NBA history, but seeing him stay in Golden State is something that I wasn't really a fan of. Klay Thompson is a guy that was drafted with the sole intention of being a sidekick. He was always going to be Curry's number 2, and I really don't like that. I really don't like that Klay Thompson has developed into one of the best 3-and-D players that we've ever seen, a top 5 shooter of all time, arguably the best scorer on that Golden State team. He has the highest career high. He has the best 3-point percentage. He has the 3 record that Curry used to have. He broke it. He's the most explosive scorer. He's the only one in that team that's able to come in and just score 12 straight points out of nowhere. However, by him staying there, he's still going to be Robin. He's still going to be Curry's number 2, Curry's little boy. And I really wanted to see him go to a team where he was going to get more of the attention. He was going to get more responsibility. He was going to just be able to go ham. Just put up stronger, better, bigger numbers. And that's not what we're going to get. Now, the Warriors are going to be paying him a lot of money for him to not play next year, which is really doesn't matter, because, as I said in the Kevin Durant video, you don't lose shooting. It's going to be really hard for him to really get worse with the type of player he is. I'm just really excited to see what Curry's going to do next year, being the one and only guy that's really going to score there on that Warriors squad. Another quick one. Rodney Hood stays with the Portland Trail Blazers. Just another role player that could have worked with a certain team that I keep referring to that leads the market, and some other teams that probably could have used his size and his shooting. and they're just not going to get it now. My Thunder finally make a good decision, staying with Nerlens Noel. Now, I'm a firm believer in Nerlens Noel. I have seen him since he was a rookie in Philadelphia to playing in Dallas and really underwhelming people, and playing in Oklahoma now and really showing us that he's still got it. He's one of the best stealing big man that we've ever seen, and he's a really good shot blocker. He's a really mobile. He has a really good game around the rim, and I think he's really underrated. He's arguably Steven Adams, but more hops and less minutes. So I really believe in him, and I think that having him coming off the bench for Oklahoma was really a good choice, a really good asset for them, and I love it. I really love that. I really love that for both sides. I love that Nerlens Noel is going to stay here. That's probably my bias, and I love that Oklahoma's willing to let him stay, that they wanted him to stay. Just a really good move. And again, another role player leaves the market. In the first day, we saw a lot of role players leave the market, which says something for the league. Now, we just saw the Toronto Raptors win the championship with basically nothing but role players. That says something about what the league is going to become. Maybe we will be seeing teams going for more depth and strength in numbers, strength throughout the whole roster, rather than front-loading their squad with superstar talent and then a bunch of nobodies with minimum contracts around them. The next move, that's probably one of the biggest moves that we heard tonight, was Julius Randle leaving the market and going to New York. I'm really excited to watch New York basketball next year, and that's something I have never said in my life, in as long as it's been. Wink, wink. Now, Julius Randle is going on a 3-year, $63 million deal, probably a little smaller than I thought he was going to get, especially considering that someone like Andrew Wiggins got a $100 million extension when he got his extension. I thought that Julius Randle was a max player, probably, with his age and his skill set and his numbers. That was a 20 and 10 player coming off the bench. That's really good. And having him paired up with RJ Barrett is going to be amazing for years to come. You're going to have Dennis Smith Jr., RJ Barrett, and really a bootleg Zion Williamson running your offense and your team for the next couple of years. Now, he's not the best rim protector because he lacks the jumps. He lacks the length. He lacks the size. But his strength, his tenacity, his hustle gets him those numbers. It makes people afraid to post him up. He's going to be an amazing asset for them for years down the line. It's going to be amazing to see him paired up with RJ Barrett. And I'm going to go to the next one because I can talk about this for days. I just love this Julius Randle pickup. And this Julius Randle move to New York is just one of the best two-sided moves I've ever seen. It's the best move for both parties, really. I can't see a better way for this to have gone down. Following that, we heard that Taj Gibson was actually going to the Knicks as well for a much cheaper deal, obviously, 2 years, $20 million. Which begs the question, what are the Wolves doing? The Wolves didn't draft a good center. They're letting this one go. Cat has, to me, not shown center-like skills. He's not a good rim protector. He's a good rebounder. He's a really good rebounder. But his playstyle really fits around running to the rim, off the dribble, shooting threes, shooting off of the post, like hooks and fadeaways, not really drop stepping and dunking. He doesn't really have that strength. He doesn't have that aggressiveness that you see from a center. And it's just something that I can't see from him. I really would like to see him play the 4 more, or be paired up with a 4 that it has that tenacity. Gorgeous Yang didn't work out. Taj Gibson seemed like it was going to work out for a little bit, then it didn't. But letting him walk out after you had a really decent center class this year, and not signing Taco Fall, not drafting Bol in the second round, it just begs the question, what are they doing? Now the Knicks are getting a really good rim protecting center in Tash Gibson. He's going to be a good center / power forward for them. Him paired up with Julius Randle in the front court is probably a little undersized. None of them are amazing rim protectors because they like the size, but Tash Gibson has better timing, he has better hops. It's a stretch to see him play the 5 alongside Randle, but it can happen. But it's going to be great for him to show the ropes to Randle around the defensive end. And just overall, Gucci, a really good pickup, thumbs up from me. The next news we got was that Miami was finalizing a sign and trade with Philadelphia for Jimmy Butler. Remember what I said about keeping the core together? Apparently Philadelphia just tossed that to the side and said, heck no, we're not keeping this guy anyway. Let's just get someone else, which is really a really good decision. You know, the best thing a team with a free agent can do is a sign and trade, really. This way, the player gets to go wherever they want, and you get to have something back. You don't just lose a player from your roster. Now, Jimmy Butler to Miami really doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why he would want to go there, other than South Beach girls. I don't know. They weren't a good team. They haven't really shown to be a great franchise since LeBron and Bosh haven't been around. Really, their biggest highlight from the last couple of years has been the Dwayne Wade retirement tour. I don't know what his thoughts are. He could have gotten a lot more money in Philadelphia. He could have won more somewhere else. He could have been the face of a franchise somewhere else. He was basically the face of a franchise in Philadelphia. When people thought of Philly, they were thinking Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's relentlessness, his tenacity, it just screams Philly. And I really thought he was going to stay. And seeing him leave, it almost brings a tear to my eye. It doesn't make any sense to me why he would want to leave. I believe that Philly probably did whatever they could to keep him, and Josh Richardson isn't a bad trade for them. I really don't understand why Jimmy would make this decision. And the fit around Justice Winslow and Goran Dragic, Bam Adebayo, they're just complementing pieces for him. His ball dominant type of offensive play is probably going to shine there, really. And he is finally going to get to be really the star of the offensive show for the first time, really, since leaving Chicago. Now, Philly isn't staying behind. Philly, the moment they saw that Jimmy left, they knew what they were doing. The next news we got from Woj was Al Horford signing with Philadelphia for 4 years, $109 million, which means they're probably going to run up a lineup of Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson, Tobias Harris, Al Horford, Joel Embiid. The 6'10 Al Horford, who was locking up centers last year, who locked up Giannis Antetokounmpo in the first game of the Boston Celtics game, who is a 5-time All-Star, who has never played the 4 in his NBA career, who has slimmed down and become faster to fit even better for the position, is finally going to get to play the 4 alongside a top 3 center in the league. This, alongside with the Randle decision, is probably one of the best moves for both parties today. Al Horford gets to leave the seemingly toxic environment of Boston, go to a franchise that seems to be one of the best organization-wise. Take a less, I don't want to say less work, but taking a role, it's going to take less of a toll on him, while still being a veteran on the team, still being able to make a really good impact on the team and play the position that he originally came into the league being. Because you gotta remember, in college, he played power forward alongside Joakim Noah. In the Olympics, he played power forward for the Dominican Republic team alongside John Michael. This is his position. This is going to be the first time we're going to see Al Horford play the 4. And he's going to go to a winning team, a non-toxic organization, alongside young players, a player in Joel Embiid that he can actually mentor. One of the best moves, hands down, for both parties. I'm really excited to see Philadelphia basketball. Not as surprising, because I love Philadelphia basketball. I love Ben Simmons. I love Joel Embiid. But I really am excited. Another role player left the books as well. After that, Ed Davis went to Utah. Now, Ed Davis is one of the better rebounders in the league. One of the last true centers in the league. He really focuses on his touch around the rim, on his rebounding, and on his shot blocking. And he could be, as Woj put it, a really good asset alongside Gobert or behind Gobert. It gives them really good depth. And if they're not able to find someone to play at the 4, they can't play him at the 4 in the starting lineup. And if you do find someone, he's going to be a really good player off the bench for you. Mike Muscala got signed to the Thunder. I'm not really sure what to think of this move. Mike Muscala is a power forward that shoots the ball. He is a worse shooter than Patrick Patterson. He's a worse rebounder than Patrick Patterson or Jeremy Grant. He's not the most athletic. He's not really that big to play the 5. He's not a great defender. You just drafted Darius Bazley, which made no sense. So, just something else. I don't know what to think of this one. Now, the Trailblazers signed Mario Hezonja to a 1-year minimum deal with an additional player option year. Now, I don't like that Mario settled for a minimum deal, especially after he had this quote-unquote breakout season. Super Mario is a player that it was fun to watch last year in New York. I thought he was going to go to a team that needed more depth. I didn't really think that he was going to settle for a minimum deal in Portland, which is really heavy on guard play. But with Seth Curry being a free agent, probably going to get paid. Really good decision for them. Good pickup. He's big. He can play either wing position, the 2 or the 3. Just a good overall role player. Great pickup for them. Thumbs up from me. Now, as I was talking here, we actually got more Woj bombs that were just out of this world. I had to take a second to think about it. You're not going to be able to tell. But, bro, this is going to be my initial reaction. D'Angelo Russell got traded to the Warriors. There was a sign and trade between the Warriors and the Nets, and he's going to the Warriors. You're going to see Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and D'Angelo Russell on the same team. I don't know how these work. I don't know if D'Angelo Russell had any say in this. However, if he did, I'd hate it. I hate it. I really thought he was going to be leaving to a team like the Lakers or Minnesota or Phoenix. A team that could really use his services as a point guard, as a scoring guard. Now he's going to the Warriors, who freaking have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the best backcourt in the league. I would believe that the Warriors are going to cheese their way out of this. They're going to 2K their rebuild and just play Klay at the 3. And maybe have D'Angelo Russell run the offense a little bit. But if D'Angelo had any say in this, I hate it. I hate it. He's going to be behind one of the biggest shadows there is in the league. Because he is not Kevin Durant. He is not tall enough to get into the light with that shadow. He is going to stay in that shadow. No one's going to be able to see him behind Klay and Curry. It's going to be fun to see him next year when Klay doesn't play. See how him and Curry pair up. It's a good way of Golden State getting something out of Durant leaving. But I don't see how this fits into their system. He's not really a ball movement, off-ball movement type of player. You picked up a good player, doesn't mean it was a good pickup. In the end, I don't think this is going to be the best thing. It's going to hinder his development. And hey, I might be wrong. Steve Kerr has done amazing things in the past. But I really thought he was going to go somewhere where he was going to be a bigger dog. And this just makes him a chihuahua. Now, this has been a crazy start to free agency. I can't wait to see what else is going to happen. The biggest takeaway from today, though, that I need to shed some light on is the Lakers. The Lakers have $30 million in cap space, and they lost out on some of the biggest role players that they could get. They lost out on Kyrie Irving, they lost out on Kemba Walker, and that's two max free agents that you're not getting anymore. And now you're also losing out on some role players that you're not going to be able to get. You lost out on Brook Lopez, you lost out on Rodney Hood, you lost out on Nerlens Noel, you lost out on Malcolm Brogdon, you lost out on JJ Redick, who probably was one of the best pickers you could have gotten with his shooting and your lack of shooting. I'm getting really heated over this. My little brother's a Lakers fan, and it just makes no sense to me why the Lakers aren't trying to get these guys. They have 2 players on rotation. They have 4 players on the roster, 2 players in the rotation. It absolutely makes no sense to me what they're doing. They lost out on Ricky Rubio as well. He's also leaving the market. It just makes no sense to me what they're doing. Now, Brooklyn is probably the best team to turn around this year. Brooklyn went from the team that traded 4 first-round picks for an old Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett and got finessed, quote unquote, to being the team that's probably gonna win the championship 2 years from now. They really finessed the whole league, and the way they did it through trades, not through the draft, not through free agency, but through trades and signing good second-round talent, good late talent, trading for talent like D'Angelo Russell, like Spencer Dinwiddie, like Caris LeVert. You got good talent. You got Jared Allen, who was one of your only picks that you got to keep. It's just been really amazing to watch them rise like this, and I'm really excited to see how this team fits together in the end. I love how Philadelphia turned around the whole Jimmy Butler leaving situation. I'm still salty about the fact that JJ Redick left and Jimmy Butler left, and they overpaid Tobias Harris, but they're gonna be able to come out on top. They're gonna be fine. Just an amazing drama, soap opera type of night. I really hope you guys are enjoying this, and I'm gonna see you tomorrow for day 2. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am.